All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, 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 Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely early morning Sabbath day in which the Most High, Ahia has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. I had to take down a video because I went over the video last night and I just didn't like how I put it out. And I said, when I get up in the morning, I'm going to redo that thing. You know, I didn't feel it yesterday. I want to uh, come back today and try at it again. And the reason why I must come back is because it's such a powerful message that needs to be heard today, being so that we're in those days in which was prophesied and which was spoken of, that will be the days of sorrow. And I feel the need that we come to the understanding in its fullness of what is actually taking place today so we can just magnify Yahuwah, glorify him and honor him, worship him and serve him. I know he says that it's over, but it's not over until it's over, is what he's saying. As long as you got breath in you, you should be able to just praise and worship and honor him himself. So Sister Deborah, is coming with this message. Hello in the live chat. It's good to see you. With this message, and the title of the message is The Son of Man Separated from the Father. And when you come to understand what that means, after Sister have completed this message, you're going to realize that everything you thought you knew, you never knew, nor do you know. Because this message is going to tell you something that no one on these platforms, I'm talking about all of them, from Rumble to Facebook to Instagram, Patriot, none of them, YouTube, none of them is going to teach you spirit and truth, nor give you the light therein. The light is there for you to see so you can find your way. So you're not going to be able to enter onto these platforms thinking that you're going to get information that carries the light, because it's not going to be there for you. It's only given to those who Yahuwah has called as his servant. They carry the light and they carry spirit and truth. So in these last days, it was spoken of knowledge being increased. It's being increased not by people who have not been called to give the knowledge that need be increased, but to the ones that are the laborers. The laborers are the one that is giving the knowledge that is being that will allow within you the word to be increased. Okay, so I want to go on and start because I think yesterday that's what had happened. I was doing too much talking about a lot of things to where this type of topic has to be, you have to dive deep in it, you guys. You have to dive in it and stay right there and not be all over the place. And I think that's what happened to me yesterday. I was all over the place. So we're going to start first with uh, John, the Gospel of John, chapter 5, and verse 19. And this message is going to cover who the Son of, who the Son of Man is and who the son of Yah was. Okay, it's a difference. So a lot of times, I'm gonna tell you what came to me in the water yesterday. He said that a lot of times different denomination and different religions tends to want to bash the main known religion, but you have to be able to take out the meat and spit out the bones. You have to be able to understand for them to have survived as long as they survived, which is the Christians and which is the Catholics. They had to have something that they were saying that was right. Okay. Do this make them righteous? No, this just make them have something that is right. Okay, just like people who do wicked and evil, they can do things that is right. They don't all the time have to do what is wicked and evil. You will find them doing something, even if it's one thing that's right. And I think what I come to see is several things that I saw that the Christians were right about, but yet they're wrong in the way they serve Satan and has taken it to really kind of hide him in the midst of their religion. You know, they kind of hide him knowing that he is their backbone. But I want to say this, something they had to have had to cause them outside of just the serpent, Satan, but they have to have something that says something that's right. Let's go back to the Garden of Eden. Remember when Satan tempted Eve? Something he said was still yet right according to what the Father had said to Adam. Something he said was right, you know. So therefore, a lot of people don't know that because they never, how would I say it, thought to really dive in to spirit and truth, meaning dive into that teacher that is to come and teach you all things, which is the Ruach. A lot of people don't have that. And because they don't have the Holy Spirit, they don't understand. You will never come to the knowledge of truth without it. So if you think sitting up under a man or a woman or being on these devil platforms is going to bring you to spirit and truth, it won't. I'm here to tell you, you never make it. Okay. So we're going to start with the Gospel of John, chapter 5 and verse 19. Again, yesterday I covered this, but I'm going to cover it again today. And I need to stop going everywhere else like I did yesterday and just try to rest right there. And in the Gospel of John, chapter 5, I'm going into chapter 5 and verse 19. Chapter 5 and verse 19. Okay. Again, I said something in Genesis regarding what Satan had said to Eve. And as you read, you will see that when the Father said, man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. And that is what he was saying to Eve to tempt her. You know, you would know the both. Okay. You would know things. So something he said was right to tempt her to do what is wrong. So I want you to understand where I'm about to go is a place you've never been before, but I'm going to take you there. And either you stand on the cliff and not fall over, or you fall over because you don't have the Holy Spirit to stand firm on top of the mountain, so you fall over it. So what Sister Deborah is about to go into, I hope you can grip it and not fall over. Okay. So in the Gospel of John, chapter 5, and we're going to go to verse 19. In the Gospel of John, chapter 5, verse 19, it reads, then answered Yeshua and said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son cannot do nothing of himself. Now, when he says the Son cannot do nothing of himself, just think, the Son can do nothing of himself. Which Son is that? That is speaking is the Son of Man, born of a woman, flesh and blood. Okay, let's say that again. This Son that is speaking and saying the Son can do nothing of himself, that is the Son of Man. Okay, born of a woman. Okay, what did he say after that? But what he seeth the Father do, what he seeth the Father do, for what thing soever he doeth, these also do the Son of Man likewise. Okay, so the Son of Man is explaining to you, I'm going to teach you, disciples. And you know, I'm going to tell you something I just realized, and I'm getting chills. I just realized that the Son of Man was teaching the disciples two ends. He was separating to the disciples who the Son of Man is. To know who the Son of Man is and to know who the Son of Yah is, you in there. So all the people in the world, if you can't separate them, if you're not able to separate them and identify them, then therefore you are not who you think you are in Yah. Okay? You can't be. Because I'm sitting here learning just now that if Yeshua, I'm like, it's saying that, look, Deborah, look who Yeshua said this to. He's saying this to his disciples. He's saying this to them. Okay? He's telling them that the Son can do nothing. Who is this Son he's talking about? Because there's two sons. When you're not able to separate them, then you are not who you think you are. You cannot have the Holy Spirit. You do not know the name. You do not have the name. You have to be able to do exactly the way Yeshua, who we are to mimic, we are to walk like, we are to talk like, we are to be like, we are to mimic him all the way to the Father. And I see him saying to me, Deborah, I'm teaching this to my disciples. I want them to know the Son of Man can't do nothing. Exactly like I feel in this day and time. Father, I can't do nothing. I can't even repent. I can't ask for forgiveness. I can't do nothing without the Father. And Yeshua is explaining this to the disciples. The Son, which Son is he talking about? He's talking about the Son of Man born of a woman. But there's two sons. And because people never knew that there were two sons, they just assumed we will believe what we're taught to believe. We will believe what we're shown to believe. We would only believe what the pastors and the priests and the teachers have taught us. We'll just believe that. But that's not nothing to believe if there's no truth to it. It's especially if there's no spirit and truth to it. If there's no light that shine bright in that, no matter what you've been taught to believe, no matter what you see and believe, you're still in pitch darkness. Okay, so Yeshua is saying in John chapter 5, verse 19, he's telling us that the Son, the Son is at a level where he can't do anything. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's fair. I think that's honest. You know, it is so important that something about us, this is for our own purpose, understand that for us to submit to what Yeshua is submitting to, do you know what that means? That means Yah is present before us because we're showing him that we know you the greatest. We know you the excellent one. We know you better than anything. We know you the great one. We know you the beginning and the end. We know that you all righteous, you all faith, and you all fear and belief is your brand. We know that you're all righteous, Father. When we say that we can't do nothing without him. And look how beautiful Yeshua is saying that. He's saying it to his disciples. He giving them the heads up. I can't do nothing without the Father. That's beautiful. This is the Son of Man. Now, Sister Deborah is telling you that these things also do with the Son likewise. So these things he's saying, he have to only do what he see the Father either tell him or he show him to do. Because he's saying, you look, y'all, there was a time when Yeshua told the disciples, tell no man. Yeshua told the disciples to tell no man. And what he was saying is, don't tell them that I'm the Christ. Ooh. I love that. He said, tell them not, tell no man that I am the Christ. There's another verse where he says, tell no man that Yeshua is Hamashiach. Because Christ, okay, the Messiah, okay, Hamashiach is your Father. You see, Yeshua knew how to separate himself from the Father so that the Father can get all praise, so that the Father can get all glory, so that the Father can get all honor. Have you gotten it? No, because you never knew. And it's not because we couldn't know. He said we reject knowledge of truth, of righteous. We reject it. And because we have rejected since the beginning of time, this is where we at. So when the Spirit of Yah teaches Sister Deborah, and he constantly telling me, Deborah, if they don't get Genesis chapter 1 and 2, they'll never get the fullness. And when he says that, the more and more I live, you all, the more information he gives me. I said, there it is, Father. That's why they can't get it. They missed it. Because that same one that Yeshua is saying that he could do nothing unless he's going right back to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. Us is the power of Yah. Let there be. The power must be embraced. Why? Because the power is the Father. So if the Son of Man had that power of his own, then he could do anything, right? But he's trying to teach his disciples that I can't do nothing that my Father don't show me. Because he is The power, y'all. How could all these thousands of years we miss it? Because we're in the closeout time period. It's over. So right now, even if you hear it, you subject still not get it. Sister Deborah just running the race because the race is still running Sister Deborah. And that is the lane in which the Father has created for me. So must I get out of the lane? Should Sister Deborah stop the race? No, I wouldn't do that. I ran track in high school. I got a scholarship for running track to go to college. You see? I know what it's like to run a race. I know even what it's like to pass up a time. I know what it's like to run top speed, that my body had the ability to. So I like how the Father deals with this old hen, because she still got her in the race. And he set the race up so I could see that it's likened to what you were doing when you were a child. You were running in a race that you love. So now you're running in my race that I love, because I have created this race for you. And everything not everything, a lot of things he surround me when he's teaching me in the wilderness, he connects it to when I used to run track, the race. Look at the lane. He put me in a lane. Where did that lane come from? Because he knew that when you were young, you used to like running track. One thing you had to do, Deborah, is what? Stay in your lane. See how he deals with his in the order in which he knoweth they need. Let's go back to the lesson. In the Gospel of John, chapter 5 and verse 19, Yeshua is teaching the disciples. I like what he said at the beginning in verse 19. He said, verily, verily. He had to say it twice. I say to you, as Sister Deborah said unto you, they had it wrong. All the denominations, all the religions, all the belief, you always had it wrong. And I just thank him because I think about how the Ruach, without that Holy Spirit, it's no way you can find your way home. You can't find your way home, you guys, without the Holy Spirit. And Yeshua is teaching his disciples, look, brothers, I can't do nothing without that Father showing me. He knows that. And he shared it with those that followed him. Okay, let's go to John chapter 14. Let's go to John, the Gospel of John, chapter 14. I think that's beautiful that he is able to inform them. So that also lead me back to what I said. They are my brothers. They are my true families. They are the ones that I know that I will see in the kingdom. Those are my true brothers. Because the same way Yeshua has taught them, the Ruach has taught me. Same way. And this book is here as a direction and instructions. Just like everywhere you go. You get a new job, they give you a book. You go into kindergarten, they gonna give you books. You go into college, they gonna give you books. Everything comes with a book. So because the Ruach is not that which is seen and believed, it is the unseen and believed, but I would have a book for you to guide you through. You see? So I thank him for this book, because without this book, I know for without a doubt, I'll find my way home, because I believe that he is greater in me than any book on this earth. I believe that without a doubt. I would die with that. And no man or woman can take that from me, even if they tried. So we're going to the Gospel of John, chapter 14, and verse 28. In the Gospel of John, chapter 14, and verse 28, it reads, Yea, ye have heard now, I say it unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If ye loved me, ye would rejoice because I said, I go unto the Father, for the Father is greater than I. Look at it. There he go, another teaching lesson. Yeshua, you know how I tell y'all how Yeshua did such an excellent, wonderful job. I truly believe that with all my heart, that he done an excellent, wonderful job. If you ever gotten behind him and walked behind him, you will see how wonderful of a job he did. You know, he came to show us and to lead us the way in how we are to treat our Father. This is why you haven't learned how to treat the Father, the Creator. It's because you never got behind the one you're to mimic, the one you are to get behind. You got so many men trying to mimic David ways, Abraham ways, men that have sinned, the men that has not followed. They didn't come down here for us to follow them, but Yeshua did. He was our example to do what? To follow him while he followed the Father. He was showing us. And as I'm reading, I see him showing the disciples the same thing. So where did along the line we got off? What did we do to it? Well, how could we have messed so great? How could we have messed up and messed down so great information? How? What did we do? How could we have done that? All the way to the end. I can understand why it is over. It is finished. Because thousands of years you've been given the truth. What did he say? They forsake it. They even perish, Deborah, due to lack of knowledge because they reject it, Deborah. They reject the knowledge. And I, as a prophetess today, a student of the Ruach HaKodesh, I behold that today as a living prophet, not a dead one. I see exactly what this book is leading me to read, and the Ruach leading me in the understanding of what it is saying. Now, Yeshua is saying in John chapter 4, verse 28, ye have heard now I said unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If ye loved me, ye would rejoice because I said, I go unto the Father, for the Father is greater than I. Yeshua, the Son of Man, was explaining to man how all good and great and perfect and excellent the Father is and powerful. But they never got behind Yeshua and follow him. The disciples did. I'm talking about today and yesterday. The forefathers so far back, they been got off the path. That's why we still today at the end don't know the way. They've been off. They've been in the ocean and can't find the dry land. It's been like that, y'all. Yeshua was teaching the disciples the way the pastors, the bishops, the seers, the watchmen, the moorings, the priests, the pastors, I said bishop, teachers. This is the way they are to teach. And I find myself in a situation where I'm like, okay, Father, wait a minute, hold up. I'm not a teacher. What am I doing? I said that all the time to the Father. He said, but if I give it unto thee, then you speak it. Because I'm like, where's the teachers? Why ain't they teaching this? What is going on, Father? See, how he has to take his prophet to bring forth spirit and truth. Because those who wants to be pastors, they so busy building land, taking money from people, getting wives, purchasing and buying as if and trying to load up on guns and food and everything to fight the world. When here it is. These are the things they were to be teaching their people, their multitude of people that they're leading. So if the multitude is not getting it from them, where are they leading them to? The broad gate. Now listen to this. Yeshua is also telling them that I told you that I go to the Father. You should be glad because he's greater than I. Why would the Son of Man come here and tell us that the Father is greater than he is if he is the Father? He's not the Father, y'all. He's not the Father. And I love Yeshua teaching this because when we tell y'all the truth of the matter, I knew that he wasn't the Father. I knew that he was the Son of Man, but I knew who was the Father that came down with him. I knew who that was for years, but I never knew it like this, y'all. I never knew Yeshua's. The reason why it's so powerful to mimic Yeshua is because he was showing Sister Deborah. You see, Deborah, I taught it to my disciples. The way to the light. The way, Deborah, to the narrow gate. I taught it to my disciples, but I had to let them know that the narrow gate and the way is to the Father and not to me. This is why you see so many pastors boasting and boasting and self-centered and eager to breed the multitude and to make money and to get things because they made it about them. And the people can't see past the pastor over to the Son and can't see past the Son over to the Father. Oh, Father, y'all. Oh, that's deep. But that's what it is. Now let's go there. I like what Yeshua is saying here because he's saying the same thing. John, the Gospel of John, chapter 5 and verse 19. He's directing our whole spirit, our spiritual mind. That's what he was tainting to these disciples. He was grafting after working their spiritual mind to a spiritual Yah. He was leading them to a spiritual creator, to a spiritual Father who was what? Greater than he was. But if he is the Father, how can he lead them to the Father if he's claiming to be the Father? Can't be done. Now, no one would grip that. No one in this earth would grip what I just said. And it had so much power in it, so much thunder. And they won't get it. That's what he meant in Hosea. I think it's Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people, Deborah, they perish due to lack of knowledge. And I remember when I used to read that, he used to always tell me, don't stop there, keep going. So you'll see why they perishing. And they got the lack of knowledge. They don't have it. It's because they reject it. Willingly reject it. So it's like that today. So when Sister Deborah telling you all, and I'm just saying this because he just put it in my spirit. I'm like saying to you all that, look, I'm not a pastor. Okay? I'm not a teacher. But I'm what he say I am. Not who I say that I am, but what he say that I am. That I am. Not who I want to be, but who he said that I am. You see? So therefore I can say I'm a prophetess. But wait a minute, hold up. You what I say that you are. Now you know I told you was my prophetess. You are my servant. But if I need you over here, that's what you gonna serve. You see what I'm saying, you guys? So it ain't for us to sit around and say, oh, well, I can't do this. I can't do this. No, I ain't going to be one of those. I ain't going to be on this devil platform. I'm not going to do this. But let me tell you something. This showing you the type of spirit that Sister Deborah has the submissive spirit to the Father. Because even though I can sit here all day and night and tell y'all, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a teacher. But do you see me not teaching? Okay. Let's go to the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 29. The Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 29. I'm going to teach this thing today, y'all. I'm going to teach this thing. said the Most High or higher. You are who I say that you are. Not who you say you are, who you think you are. You're going to do what I say. You're going to be what I say. Okay. So the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 29. In the Gospel of John, chapter 10 and verse 29, it reads, my Father, which gave them me. Wait a minute. Hold up, Yeshua. Hold up. I'm with you. But can you bag this thing up? And can you bag this thing down? Yeshua is saying in verse 29, in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 29, my Father, which gave them me. When did he give them Yeshua? That was already in the heavens. That's why Yeshua is speaking it down on the earth. The Father gave me to you and you to me. Isn't that a true Father? Isn't that one that, but look how he said it. Gave. You see that word gave? So a lot of times you all, when you really want to understand the word love, reach at the word give and gave, and you'll find your way home. You'll find your way there. You'll find your way home. And home is in the bosom of Yah. You'll find your way there. Mm-hmm. So here you hear in verse 29, the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 29, my Father, which gave them me, is greater than all. You see, there he go again. What was Yeshua doing again? He was acting as the Son of Man to mission us to follow his teaching, his walk, his ways to the Father. But who was he trying to get first? He had to master what? What did he have to master? The 12 that who? The Father had what? Given him. So did he have to go outside of them? No, he had to stay within what the Father has given him. That's the same way I feel about the Devil Platform. What do I say? That one. I don't have to have 12 like Yeshua. I don't have to have 1,000 subscribers and 1 million likes. The Father can give me 15. He can give me 10. Come on, Ryan that old thing back, Deborah. He can give me 2. He can give me 1. And I can say, just like Yeshua have said, all that I have is what the Father has given me. I don't want no more than he give me. I don't want to even have no more than he has assigned me to have. So here Yeshua is saying in verse 29, my Father which gave them me is greater than all. Watch this here. And no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. This is how I try to explain to you all how the Father has orchestrated it in my spirit. Don't ever think people going in and out, going to and fro, going up and down, undecided where they want to go, especially when the feelings get caught up. He said, kick that stuff to the curb. Look at what they did to Yeshua. It's the same thing. It is no different. But what he says, no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. Same thing with Deborah. It's nobody that's going to be plucked off of this page unless the Father has given them to the one to pluck them away. That means one's mindset and one's Satan telling them this. Don't listen to this. Don't get off of there. This. My feelings hurt, my emotions. But the Father is saying, Yeshua is saying, all that the Father has given me, nobody can take them out of whose hand? Who is Yeshua selling? Out of the Father's hand. What did he say? And no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. Yeshua ain't saying out of my hand. Sister Deborah ain't saying out of my hand. That's why I can speak so boldly in regards to people who come and go, people who come to stay, and those that stay and hang in there. You're here for a reason. You see, because can't just any and everything pluck you out of the Father's hand in which he has placed you. You see? So when they run because they're not in the Father's hand. So this is what Yeshua is saying. My Father, which gave them to me. You see? The ones that the Father bring forth on to this platform. And I really do. I thank I thank the Father and how he has prepared me from the inner man to know that, Deborah, this is not it. So don't get bent up and don't get bent down. I think that's a comforter showing me it ain't got nothing to do with you. I know who you are in me. I know how I called you before the foundation and I mission you. So anything go down is the way that it is, Deborah. Because if you really go back to what Yeshua is saying, he's letting you know that all that he has, okay? He says in verse 29, this is in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 29, my Father, see, there he go, which gave them, what did he say? Which gave them me. So the disciples was given Yeshua by who? The Father. People on these platforms don't understand. Sister Deborah ain't on here because she like it. Oh, it's so goody. She trying to get a check. I've been given to someone, even if it's that one. I keep trying to tell people that this is not about Deborah. You see, even if it's that one, I've been given to that one. Watch this here. To them. And the Father that gives that one to me is greater than me in all. Okay? And this is what he said. And no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. So that one that the Father has given me to, that's why I said, even if it's just that one, you can't pluck. What did he say? No man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. My Father's hand. You don't hear Yeshua say, my hand. That's why Sister Deborah is content to be on here, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 likes, subscribe. It doesn't matter. Because whatever Yah has given me to, that even if, like he told me, even if it's just that one, Deborah, you okay. Just stay in your lane. Keep running. In that lane that I ordered for you. So that's a good feeling for me. Okay. So even you see Yeshua separating himself from the Father. He's trying to get the disciples to understand where everything rests. So there was a time where, and I'm serious, people would ask me, boy, you sure turn everything over to the Father. Yes, I will. Every day of my life. Everything I say, I'm going to turn it right back over to the one that has that power that I have come to know and who is the creator of all things. You see, why should I try to grab it? You think someone will be on this devil platform with very few likes and very few subscribers because they own here to play? I'm not getting paid, and I could care less. I'm on here because for that one, just that one, Yah has given them me. You see? Okay. So I like even in the Gospel of Gospel of John, chapter 10 and verse 29. I like how Yeshua is teaching the disciples because he's turning it back over to who? The Father. He's saying, I'm not the one, y'all. That's what he's saying. I'm the Son of Man, born of a woman, flesh and blood. I'm the Son of Man. But the Father, his whole mission and the way he taught us was to look to the hills, to the Father. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? All those years. What did he tell his mother and father when they come looking for him when he was, 13? What did he tell them? What did he say to his mother and father? I got to be about my Father's business. That's at the age of 13. Why? Because the mission. We get lost in the understanding. That's why he said, in all you're getting, get the understanding. And the understanding don't mean agree or disagree. It's understand what is Yeshua talking about. And who's going to give you that understanding? the Ruach HaKodesh. That's what he's coming for. Because the understanding in everything that was in the old has gotten lost. It ain't gotten lost. It has been rejected. I know a lot of people thinking they upholding the Torah. They did. No, they ain't. There's a lie from the pit of hell. Even they Passover and all the stuff that they serving, that's a lie from the pit of hell. Because I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you something that he taught me a long time ago. He said, Deborah, you know that lady who had the oil. Now, y'all, we know who that is. I'm getting off the topic again, but I'm just going to say that. He said, I told them to at all time go. They are to purchase the highest price oil that they can find. Bring it into the temple. Let that fragrance represent me, in which she has done. Keep it in remembrance. You think these Negroes gonna go buy that? You think they gonna go buy a fragrance, the alabaster box the lady had, that the disciples were saying cost all this money? And it did. How are you having the Passover without that remembrance? You ain't having nothing. You just playing around. You just messing with these people. You just gaining, making money. Deceiving the people. Go back to it, you all read it. That lady's fragrance that she wiped him with was during the time of the Passover. And he told them to always remember that. Why? Because the fragrance represents, okay, the burial before the death. So how are you going into the Passover without it? You can't. They're supposed to go into any expensive store and get one of the expensive fragrance, bring it back to the church or the temple, put that sucker out there. So the whole when they walk in, the first thing they're gonna be tampered with is what? The smell. And what do the smell go to? Their first sense is what? Your first sense would be what? Your smell. You don't even have to see. So he's trying to tell us he's trying to tell me, Deborah, they've been off balance with the feast. They've been off of it. They think it's about the way they say it. Man has switched it so bad, they didn't kicked her out. And I told them to remember what she had done. Always in remembrance of me. You think they're going to bring that alabaster box back up in there? No, they ain't, because they don't want to pay this for it. Just as the disciples went to Yeshua saying that she's going to use that there, and that costs a lot of money. And he said, no, you don't understand what she's doing. You don't get it. It's for my burial. This is what this is about. See, they didn't get it then. But when the Ruach came, the disciples got it. But these men today, hit rock somewhere. They don't get nothing. They don't understand nothing. See, this is where Sister Deborah already know that all this Passover and all this stuff they're doing, why would I get involved in it if they're out of order? They're totally out of order. The Ruach is not leading them to the fullness of the understanding of the Passover. They playing games. They doing self. They doing man, flesh. They ain't doing spirit. Because before anybody enter in that room, only that person that buys that fragrance should be liable to go get it and bring it in. When they get it in, one that's head would smell and say, this is it. And even if it's a damp, it should be present before anybody come in for the Passover. Why? It should get their first sense, which is smell. And that smell alone should be a smell they never smelled before. And that smell, by honoring what the Father say do, then when they get that smell, the people will respond in a spiritual way. Why? Because the first thing was what she put on him during that Passover. Oh, they gonna do that. No, because he said, remember her. And how do you remember? You go and you buy that and bring it back before the Passover, before you set up food, before you do anything, before you can get up there and open your ugly mouth. Make sure that's in there. So when the people enter in, they'll smell. It's supposed to be even a smell that you never smelled before. Why? Because, and not only that, it has to be, these niggeros ain't gonna go get that because they don't know nothing about it. And they're ignorant women and wives, too ignorant to stand up and open their mouth if they know, but they might not know because Yah ain't gave it to them. Everybody's clowning, everybody's role playing. Okay, let's go to the Gospel of John, chapter 6. And what I see is that the Father is saying in this last days, this is why he has to send the servants, the prophets, and not just any servant and just any prophets. He's sending his best ones out, the one that's going to speak bold and firm and stand on any mountain to proclaim. Because what I just gave you all, not one of you all understand it. That's how powerful it is. See, it can only be understood by the ruach within you. And if the ruach is not in there to break that down in you so you can say, wow, I didn't know that. See, it's owning that thing. Feeling that thing. See, nobody don't know nothing about that. Okay, so when we go to the Gospel of John, chapter 6, and we're going to go to verse 38. Let's go to verse 38 first. The Gospel of John, chapter 6, verse 38. And it reads, "For I came down from heaven not to do my own will." There goes Yeshua. You know, I'm going to tell y'all something. Every Christian in the world, every Hebrew Israelite in the world, if they could hear this message and they have the Spirit, the Holy Ghost, the Ruach HaKodesh, it will bust them wide open. Because what I'm speaking is strictly 100 trillion spirit and truth. Look at how Yeshua, the Son of Man, is separating himself from the Father. He's actually teaching it to the disciples. So that's why everything is off balance. The whole earth is off course. Because they never wanted to speak spirit and truth. They never wanted to stand on what is truth. They rather believe a lie and teach it because it gets more likes. It gets more subscribers. It even gets more support, financial support, to lie than to tell the truth. Isn't that sad? But it's all what it is. Now listen to this. In the Gospel of John, chapter 38, it says, "For I came down from heaven not to do my own will." Do y'all understand that? Yeshua is admitting that he came down not to do his own will. That right there allow you to see the fullness that Yeshua came down so we can mimic him and not step out of the order of the Father. Because if we mimic Yeshua, he'll run us straight into the Father. And there we rest in the Father's bosom. If we are to mimic Yeshua. The men decided, and I'm going to say the men, we're not going to follow Yeshua. We got our own way. We got our own order. We can get the people to follow us. And this is what they don't understand. And they're not going to, because we finished now. That all these years you led the people to the broad gate. And it didn't change the will of my Father, because he already said, Deborah, they don't know. My gate was narrow from the beginning. Praise the mind. Why? Because he already knew the story. We're down here trying to teach it and preach it. He already finished the story. This book is just a helping hand. It's over. While we still trying to monkey around. Sister Deborah, he said, you still here. You still in the lane. Go on and give them what I give you. But it ain't nothing big about what Sister Deborah is saying. It's just spirit and truth. It's just light to those that sits in darkness that still ain't going to see the light. But it's just letting them know. Just because you sit in the darkness, just because 99 sit in the darkness, don't think y'all ain't got his light out here. Oh, yes, baby. He gonna always have his pen needle of light. That's why he said, very few shall find the narrow gate. Don't you know that he knew that it will be only very few before heavens begin? So he ain't caught up in the narrow gate not being many. He knew before the foundation of the world that it was just going to be few that find the way. And that's all I going back to that one. So Deborah don't care. I don't care. I stand on my Father's will and my Father's will only, not the will of the flesh, the feelings and the emotions of the flesh. I stand on my Father's will. So listen to this. In the Gospel of John, chapter 6 and 38, he says, for I came down from heavens, not to do my own will, but the will of him. Look at him. Look at Yeshua. Separating himself from the Father so that what? The disciples can know spirit and truth. He's separating himself from the Father so that they can be able to know spirit and truth. No, you can't know spirit and truth, baby, if you thinking that Yeshua is the Father. When I hear people talk about Yeshua, and I hear them saying Jesus, 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 I said, do they know not that Jesus ain't coming for them? Yeshua can't come help you. You can't pray to Yeshua. You can't even quote Yeshua. If you're saying, even you can't even teach Yeshua unless you're teaching Yeshua like Sister Deborah is teaching him, and like Yeshua was teaching the disciples. How was Yeshua teaching them? Separating himself from the Father so they'll know why he's here, how he's here, and who gave him the power why he's on the earth. But when you can't separate and pour Yeshua from the Hamashiach, then you messed up from the floor. That means you never understood Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. You never understood it. You never got it. And you didn't get it because the Father didn't give it to you. That's why that gate is still narrow. See, that the gate was narrow before the foundation of the world. Did it change? No, it's still narrow. It's still narrow. So, as verse 20, the Gospel of John, chapter 6 and verse 38, he says, for I came down from heaven not to do my own. Look, wait a minute, hold up. Yeshua, could you tell them again? My own, Deborah. Wait a minute, Yeshua, when you say your own, do you mean your own? Yes, Deborah. I got my own will. And I didn't come down here to do my own will. But what did he say? But the will. See, he talked about two wills. Everything is two, y'all. If you're not able to separate them, then you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh. You don't have it. You can run around here and say you got it all you want. But I tell you what, this sister will tell you I wouldn't want to die without it. And I don't even want to claim that I have it and not have it. Because here, Yeshua even separate two wills. His own will, and what did he say? But the will of him that sent me. He gave you that. There you go. It's one that sent me. And he taught this to his disciples. This is what these men should have been doing all these thousands of years. Teaching men how, to follow behind the will of the Father. By doing what? Following behind Yeshua, the Son of Man. The example that the Father gave us to follow so that we can find our way to what? The bosom of the Father. And we didn't do it because Yeshua did it. And I tell the Father, I said, I just really love how Yeshua has followed your will. He did an excellent job, y'all. And sometimes we need to just say that, because when we tell the Father how excellent Yeshua done an excellent and great will, we're giving the glory to the Father because he the one set the will up. So it's okay to tell the Father that Yeshua has done an excellent, wonderful, perfect will of the Father because he set it up. And that's what Yeshua was saying. Everything that you see set up from the floor up for the Son of Man is of my Father, y'all. Get with it. And he taught it to the disciples. So if you're wondering why the men are the way that they are today, it's because they have been so far from spirit and truth to the point where they can't find their way because the way ain't trying to find them, because the way has been easily seen out of the book that they are teaching. But yet they pull up in their way. They pull up in their wisdom. They pull up in their knowledge. They pull up in their understanding. They pull up in their a personal opinion. They pull up in their feelings. They pull up in their emotion. And they leave spirit and truth out. Yeshua always, and this is beautiful, because you see two wheels. He letting you know my will and my Father's wheels are separate, y'all. Y'all, we are separate. I came down here, and it's not to do my will. So he's letting you know. He was letting the disciples know. So this is why the disciples was able to stand so firm, so good, so excellent, so wonderful in the fear of Yah, in the righteousness of Yah, in the belief of Yah, in the faith of Yah. It's because they got behind Yeshua. They learned everything there were, and they remembered everything that Yeshua taught them during the walk. And how did they do that? Because when the Ruach came, when the Ruach HaKodesh came, the day of Pentecost, and when he come in them, one of the characteristics of the Ruach was to bring things back to their remembrance. And that's what the Ruach did. The Ruach didn't have to reteach them. The Ruach brought back to their remembrance what the Son of Man had taught them. So then they brought it all in one. That's why they were able to teach this thing about the Son of Man. This is why they were able to. That's why they knew what Sister Deborah is teaching today. Those are my brothers. They knew exactly already. Everything I'm saying to you all, this is what they knew. This is how they learned. By what? Mimicking Yeshua. These Negroes today, these Negroes of yesterday, these Negroes of the generation on down never got their butts behind Yeshua and walked their in. Because if they did, they would have found the Father in his excellency. But they can't. It's over. For thousands of years, they refused to follow. Who? Yeshua. He was leading them to the door, you guys, as he did his disciples. That's why they were so good at what they did. That's why they had that power they had. That's why the miracles and signs and waking up the dead and all that was going on. Because they knew how to follow the one that came down to the earth that we were to mimic. Get behind him and mimic him. Don't get in front of him. Don't even try to line up by the side of him. Get behind him as an example that I'm willing to follow the one that you, Father, has placed before us. Yeah, he gone. He been gone 1,000 years ago. But I'm willing to get behind him because I saw his way of leading the people. You see? These people won't go. These men won't go nowhere near Yeshua. Why? Because he didn't have wives. He wasn't party hardy. He went about me, mine. He went out here trying to make money. He wasn't trying to steal and kill and destroy, to have his way. His way was only his Father's way. And that's what he said, I come down to do the will of my Father, not mine. What Negro today tell you that they come down here to do the will of the Father? No, they down here to do their own will. So that's the difference between them and Yeshua. And that's why they don't know who Yeshua is and they don't know who the Father is. Okay, let's go. Verse 44. We're in the Gospel of John, chapter 6 and verse 44. Here go Yeshua again. Did I go to 44 yet? No, I didn't. The Gospel of John, chapter 6 and verse 44. And this is something similar to what I already read, but I'm showing you how it was always important that we get behind Yeshua. And that was what? In verse 44, the Gospel of John, chapter 6, verse 44. No man can come to me except the Father which has sent me draw him. I will raise him up at the last days. Now, what Yeshua is saying is this. No man, and when he says no man, meaning no flesh, okay, can come to me except the Father which has sent me. See, he's telling you the Father sent me, y'all. I'm you, you, me. He sent me like he sent you. Okay? But he said, drew me. Now listen to this. Which has sent me, drew them. So the Father, let's go back. Verse 44. This is the Gospel of John, chapter 6, verse 44. No man can come to me except the Father which has sent me, drew them. What is Yeshua saying? Yeshua said to them, I don't care about y'all quoting Yeshua, Jesus. None of that means anything to me. See how they have made it all about a name? See, why? Now, if Yeshua is telling you what heaven is like, why are we taking it and making it the way the earth is like, the world is like? We have taken that which is spiritual and made it flesh, earthly. Now, Yeshua is saying, no man can come to me. That means Deborah can't come to me except the Father has sent me, drew him. Unless Yah drew me, okay? He sent Yeshua and drew me to Yeshua. Same way, sister, try to explain. Y'all be thinking I'm wrong. Y'all be thinking I'm mean and evil, but whatever. That's the same thing I keep saying when I say one. Same thing he's saying. All that I have is all that Yah has drew unto me. I don't care about how many likes and subscribers. That means nothing. All that Yah has. Now, this is what Yeshua said. No man come to me except the Father which has sent me. The Father sent me. But if he draws someone to my page, that's the Father. That's not me. That's what Yeshua said. If those that he has drawn to me, him is the one that Yah has drawn to him. Okay, watch this here. And I raise him up at the last days. Now, see right there, the disciples, I can see why the disciples never believed. They never did believe. But just think of where we at today. What's the difference in me saying that the disciples I could see never believed, but yet today is likened to that? What's the difference? It's because the disciples didn't believe while they walked with him. But guess what? It wasn't that they were to believe him while he was talking. It's when he's gone and the Ruach come. And when the Ruach come, it brings these things back to their remembrance. And because now the Ruach HaKodesh live in them, they have taken everything now Yeshua has said to 100 face value. That's what the Holy Spirit comes to do. So when you got these people out here saying they got the Holy Spirit, they have not followed the footprints of Yeshua. They have nothing to look back in remembrance outside of how their daddy raised them, how the pastor raised them, how their bishop raised them, how this church raised them, or how that church raised them, how the Hebrew Israelite cult raised them, how the Hebrew Israelite religions raised them. That's all they have. That's all they have. And that's not worth a pot of burnt beans. And that's sad, isn't it? Because listen to, I want you to kind of meditate on what Yeshua is saying. He says, no man can come to me, okay, except the Father has sent me, draw them. The same Father that sent me, y'all, he has to draw them to me. Sister Deborah been saying that for the last 8 months. I'm not worried about people on my platform, on this devil platform, coming to this page. All that the Father has drawn, that's all that matters. And that's what Yeshua was saying to the 12. And what's the, look at the power behind what he said. Here it go. This is the power behind what Yeshua said. He said, I will raise him up at the last days. At the last days. Yeshua is saying, but it's not, I'm not going to raise no one up that my Father has not given me. The Father has given me certain ones. He did this in the heavens before heaven and earth was created. Those same ones, when I come down here, will be the same ones that was given to me before the heavens was created. Don't forget, the lamb was slaughtered when? Before the foundation of the world. So this thing didn't start with you, baby. This thing didn't start with your works. This thing didn't start with your ways. You see? This thing started in heaven. And Yeshua is telling them, I will raise him up at the last days. Why? Because it's Yeshua's job from the Father in the last days to take angels to go, and himself go to the four corners and collect your sheep. All. And that's why he went into separating the sheep from the goats. You see? When he went to the four corners, the Son of Man, keep hearing the Son of Man coming, the Son of Man coming. And guess what? This same one that taught these disciples this way, the one we refuse to follow behind, the one we refuse to mimic, the one we refuse to talk like, walk like, teach like, and conduct ourselves like, that one, while they telling us to get over in Torah and go Torah way, baby, you lost without a cause. Only one way, and that's the way of the Son of Man. Because his way was the right way, not Torah. They couldn't go Torah way when they were there. Yeshua's way was the right way because he was the only Son of Man, born of a woman, flesh and blood, that walked to give us the example of how we ought to walk, how we ought to talk, how we ought to move in righteousness according to the Father that sent him. He relayed it to us so that we can walk likewise. We never mimic him, y'all, even to today. And you need to go back and just read it as a comfort. And you'll realize all this that Yeshua was saying to the disciple, this is really good teaching. It is one, because he's trying to let them know, don't look at me. But these pastors, these men out here, I'm a king, I'm a leader, I'm a ruler. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. And these people ain't got no spirit and truth of no whole matter, no light. And they're content. People better wake up. Satan took 1/3. Y'all didn't stop none of that. Not matter of fact, he even sent him some extra. A lot of y'all don't know that, but yeah, he clinked that heaven out and already started on. He already prepared the new heaven. You see, we ain't nobody up in it, but it's prepared because that old thing had a lot of mess up in it. And that's why we have to have a new one, because the old is tainted from what Satan was doing when he was up there and all the other ones that follow him. And then there was still yet many who wish they could have followed. So he settled that thing on the earth. Praise the mighty Yah. Y'all don't know nothing about that. But I like how Yeshua let them know that I will raise him up in the last days. And that's what he talks about, how he's going to raise up. When you hear it says, and the Son of Man come in Matthew 24, and it says the Son of Man come all throughout the Bible. It talks about the Son of Man, Matthew, Luke, John, on down talks about the Son of Man. When the Son of Man come, it's letting you know what Yeshua, as the world called Jesus, Yeshua was saying here, and I will raise him up at the last days. Who are you raising up, Yeshua? When Deborah, I'm raising up those that the Father had given me. To do what? To follow me. To follow in my footstep. To mimic me. Do y'all get that? That's what I'm talking about. That's what they won't teach. And they never will. Okay, let's go to one more John. And that's John 16. The Gospel of John, chapter 16. The Gospel of John, chapter 16 and verse 27. So this is where what I'm liking about this here is the ideal of how easy it was. Because Yeshua never did what you see all these men doing today. But these men today, let me go all up, and I'm gonna come up on you, and I'm gonna come down you. You know how they are talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? What the king of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the king of David, that come from the heaven is Yeshua. So how is it you're going to follow David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and proclaim them and won't come and follow behind the one, only that one, that came out of the tribe of Judah, the king of, is said, the Jews. But yet you say you're a Jew. We the Jews, we the true Jews, we the people, we the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But who was the ultimate one that came from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? David. Go back to Matthew chapter 1. Who was the ultimate? Who was that one that wasn't even worldly in the eyes of the Father to be the seed of Joseph, but came through the seed of a woman? Who was that one? Devil, you gonna get yourself in trouble. You gonna get yourself in trouble, girl. You gonna get yourself in some trouble. Who is that king? From what I just heard, he said in the Gospel of John, chapter 6 and verse 44, he said he's gonna come and collect. He's gonna come and collect that which is his, that Yah has given him. Well, who is that one that's coming like that? Who is that coming? Wait a minute. Didn't he come from the tribe of Judah? Wasn't he named the King of the Jews? Wasn't he the one that the Hebrew Israelite, we the people? Isn't he the one that is said to be your king? Wait a minute, hold up. I got to go a little deeper than that. Didn't he come out of the mighty tribe of Judah without even tampering with? Oh, it's trying to wind up on me now, y'all. It's trying to cut off. This computer trying to cut up. And wait a minute, but yet, not a man on the earth want to get behind that type of king and follow him. Isn't that sad? That is so sad. No one wants to come behind Yeshua. No one wants to follow the King of the Jews. You see the hypocrite? You see the deceivers. You want to talk about the tribe, the 12 tribes, but you don't want to follow the king of the 12 tribes. Why haven't you got your butt behind the king of the 12 tribes? Ooh-wee! Devil, you're going to get yourself in some trouble. You're going to get yourself in some trouble. Now, you're supposed to be telling these people about, but wait a minute, now I'm going there, Father. Yeah, I'm going there. You wants to be a man. You wants to be a leader. You wants to be a ruler. You wants to be a king. Tell you what, get your tail behind the true king. The king of the 12 tribes. You don't hear a man's ugly mouth teaching or preaching it. No, because they ain't behind the true king. Because they so busy being the king. They so busy wanting to be the ruler, the power puncher. And they don't even understand. You're not even going to be able to be lining up with Yeshua as his sheep. And that's what's sad. Because as you go to Matthew chapter 1, you notice David going to line up with him. Abraham going to line up with him. Isaac going to line up with him. Jacob gonna line up with him. Solomon gonna line up with him. But you see, if you line up with him, you ain't gonna make it. They are already lining up with him. In the eyes of Yah, he already lined. Hey, they in there, Deborah, already. Now, what are these people today gonna say about that? They're not in there because they never lined up with the king. But yet you want to be a king in the land of your oppressor. How you gonna be that in prison? How you gonna be that in the jail? You see? You see the hypocrite? You see the lies of Satan that has found house in them? That's teaching all these people on these devil platforms? When you won't even follow the head of the Jews, which is the king, Yeshua. You won't get behind him and walk therein. You get behind him, you can fight any battle that come upon you. You can move mountains. But they don't want to get behind him because he didn't have many wives. He's not drinking alcohol. He's not doing the things that they're doing and want to do and their desire. So therefore, they don't want to walk behind him. I don't blame you. Because if you don't walk behind him, you don't talk behind him, you don't act behind him, guess what? You ain't of him. So that one he said he's coming for, you won't be one. See, that's what they don't get. You see how beautiful the Father orchestrated it? Yeah, they want to call him a king, Deborah. They want to call themselves a king, but they won't get behind the real king. And that is Yeshua. Because see how Yeshua teaching the disciples? Beautiful. He letting them know, look, y'all, I'm the Son of Man, but the Father is the Son of Yah. Everything comes through him. I can't have y'all I can't be the king of y'all if he didn't assign me to be y'all king. I'm only the king of those that he have assigned me to be the king. That's what he's saying. In the Gospel of John, chapter 6 and 44, that's exactly what he's saying. Those that I am king over, I'm coming to get them. Y'all never made me king. Y'all running y'all ugly mouth, talking about you got the name, you got the name, you got the name. You ain't got the name of nothing. That's why there's no other door you can come through, y'all. You can't come through no other door. There's no other door you can come through. That's why you got to come through Yeshua, because that's the king. That's the king open up the door to you and introduce you to the power. So the power can introduce you to the Ruach HaKodesh. That's who the king is. See, you didn't know that, did you? Now, let's go to John 16 and verse 27. In the Gospel of John, chapter 16 and verse 27, it reads, for the Father himself loveth you, because ye have loved me, and have believed that I came out from him. See, and that's another thing. I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I know what I know because I'm a student of the Ruach HaKodesh, and my school is called the Wilderness. Okay? That's where I go for classes to be taught. And my Father is the beginning, the end, and everything in between. He taught me as 4 years old. Probably a little younger than that, but that's something I can definitely remember 4 years old. So therefore, what I'm saying to you, it don't matter if you get it or not. If you don't get it, it ain't for you. If you get it, that's good. But listen to this. What Yeshua is saying in John, the Gospel of John, chapter 16, verse 27. For the Father himself loveth you, because he, listen to this. I'm gonna reverse it to this word, from this word love to give and gave. For the Father himself gave himself. Let's do it. For the Father himself gave you, because you gave me, and have believed that I came out from him. Believing that he came out from him is so powerful. What is Yeshua saying to the disciples, y'all? What is the Yeshua saying to the disciples? Yeshua is letting you know, everybody that says they believe, you're not entering in the kingdom of heaven. Because your belief is your flesh belief. You have to know and believe in spirit and truth, the truth of the whole matter. Yeshua is trying to explain to you all have to believe. For the Father himself giveth you, because ye gave me, and have believed that I came from Yah. That word coming from, because he's given you me, and he's given you me, and me you. Yah has given you me. Did he say that in the last 2 verses? All that I have is what the Father has given me. Like Sister Deborah said, all that I have come to my live or to my page or what Yah has given. Not because everybody come is what Yah has given. A lot of people come to be nosy. But those who have stood firm, or those who Yah has given. Okay? Now, those that Yah has given, that's going back to give and gave. And this is what he said in 27. The Father himself, for those that Yah has given you, me, and given me you. Because Yah draws you to me. And he gives me you. All of it is give and gave. Y'all see that? That's all. That's what he said. But guess what he said? And have believed that I came from Yah. Yah did this. He gave you me and gave me you. And you believe that you believe that I came from him. See, this is where this word believe come in. This heavenly brand name. Remember that brand I told you? The 4 brand is righteous, belief, faith, and fear. Those are brands. They are branded in your spirit. That's why you believe. Not because you believe because you say you believe you in the flesh and it's my choice and I can believe. No, that ain't it, y'all. That's not it. What Yeshua is saying in verse 27, it says, and have believed that I came out from Yah. See, he's talking about a special belief, y'all. And the only way you can believe that is when you understand that belief is the brand. That's what Yeshua is talking about. He gave you me, you. And what? What did he say? And have believed that I came out from him. Why? Because that belief is the belief that was branded in the heavens before heaven and earth was created. Yah branded his with 4 brands. They came together. Righteous, belief, faith, and fear. It branded your spirit. So that's what Yeshua is saying, how belief got in there. Okay? So we're going to touch something that's going to get a little tough here. We're going to go to Matthew 26 and verse 39. So this is believe it or not, y'all, this is a really, really powerful message. And if you got a page and you're on the platform, this is a message you should teach. You should teach this because this has shut a lot of people down and make them search themselves. It really would. Okay, in Matthew chapter 26, or if you're among your families and other members, this is one reason why they don't understand who the Son of Man is. But what they missing, I'm going to sum it up in you so you can see why all of this that you see in the Hebrew Israelite movement is a lie. All of it. I gave you one of the power punch. You seen the feast, the Passover they just had? It don't mean anything because you didn't do it in the order in which the Ruach has taught you. See, the Ruach has to teach you how to keep it in order. And if the Ruach did not tell you about the alabaster box and the woman, he said, in remembrance of her, you do this because she remembered me for my burial. So how do you remember her? You have to bring that fragrance before the people enter in. And it don't supposed to be loud. It don't supposed to be stinky. It's supposed to be the best thing you ever smelled. Even if you have to go over to friends to get it, go get it. That's why the disciples was telling him, when you going to let her pour that? Yes. Do you know who I am? See, they don't know it. That's how it is today. They don't know who he is. So they don't know the body. And the sad part, let me show you the sad part about it. This shows me the level of how foolish women, wives and women follow these men. Because if they didn't get it, the women's supposed to have grasped that thing if they are walking in righteousness. But they are walking in the flesh righteousness of their men. And that's for the flesh. It's never been the will of the Father that a woman was to keep quiet. Want me to tell y'all why? He said if they missed it, Deborah, in Genesis 1 and 2, they'd have missed the whole thing. And guess what's in Genesis 1? Was them. That was the righteous will of the Father. That was the righteous will of the Father. They took it out of the righteous will and made it about him. And Yah did not tell them that. Everything he told them to do, it was for them, not him. So this is why you see the world the way that it is. And he was able to prophesize it because heaven's already seen it. Okay. So let's go to Matthew 26 and 39. Matthew 26 and 39. Matthew 26 and 39, and it reads, and when he a little further and fell on his face, and he prayed, saying, oh, my Father. Wait a minute, hold up. Son of man, what are you doing? Ain't you the Father? Didn't they say you God? What you doing going down here falling all on your face? For what? You the Father. You God. Yeshua always showed us something separate. Yeshua showed us something separate. You all, I got to turn this heat off. I'm burning up. See how beautiful Yeshua did that? He always showed us the Father. Look at Matthew's chapter 26, verse 39. Here it says, he went a little further. This is in Gethsemane, I believe, yes. And he fell on his face. This means the face was on the ground. Hey, wait a minute, hold up. Yeshua, what you doing that for? What you doing that for? Watch this here. And prayed, saying, oh, my Father. So if Yeshua is the Father, why he's on his face on the ground saying, oh, my Father? If he is the Father. Y'all lost it. You missed it. You always did. Always did. And we run around here thinking we know something. You missed it. He's saying right there, y'all, I'm separate. I'm the Son. I'm the Son of Man. I'm about to pray to the Father. He separate himself to show us how we too must identify the Father separate from who we are. So that when we teaching people, people would always run to the Father. Would always turn to the Father. Would put their faith in the Father. Would put their belief in the Father. Would fear the Father. But no, we don't want to do that. We want to go this way and look at man. Trust man gonna give it to us right. Trust man gonna say it to us right. Trust man gonna do it to us right. And that's where we sin. You know, our heart is our wealth. That's where we send it to man. And that's why man on this devil platform trying to get a check. Because of his heart. And not because he's representing Yahuwah. Okay. Now, one thing I was caught up from the floor where I'm going to step into a realm away from Yeshua, but I'm going to come back into him, right? Now, we in verse 39, Matthew 26 and 39. Oh, my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou will. See how he's separating? He's letting you know, y'all, I'm talking to the Father. I'm talking to the power. I'm on my face. That's the Son of Man. That's the Son of Man. Listen to what he's saying, though. Oh, my Father, if it's possible. What you mean, if it's possible? Hold up. Who tells my Father if it's possible? He told me all things is possible to him, that the Father, all things is possible to him. But here's the Son. Why? Because he's the Son of Man. He's teaching us that we are flesh. And when we go to the Father, that's how we have to go. We have to go shutting down the flesh and coming to him in the spirit. But we can't come to him like that if we don't know who he is, that's separate from us. I'm always telling y'all, I do this, I do this. He said this to me. He said, why? Because I'm trying to tell you there's something greater than me that's talked to me through the water, that talk to me throughout the day, that talk to me when I'm asleep, wake me up in the midnight hour. I'm constantly telling people this, but it don't mean anything because no one ever learned the difference. So what did he say? He went out, he felt, and he said, if it's possible. What you mean if? But what did he say? Let this cup pass from me. He's telling the Father that this feeling that I'm having, please take it from me. I know this is the feeling that the hour is here. We in the minutes. It's here. This is the whole purpose that was created in the heaven. And I'm feeling this thing, Father. Why? Because let me see. Yeshua is feeling it in the flesh. Why? Because the other part that came down with him, which is the Son of Yah, has to let him alone until he get up there. Okay? And die. Why? Because then he would die for us, man. But if the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, is in him, then he can't die for us. See, he has to die for us like a what? Like a man, flesh and blood. Okay? So if he died like us, like flesh and blood, then the victory is won. But in order for him to do that, he can't have the Son of Yah with him, which is Yah, which is the Father. So when he's going to Gethsemane and he's talking about, he's on his face. He's going without the Son of Yah. He's the Son of Man down on his face. And he's saying, if it be possible. What you mean? If it be. That's flesh talking. And then what? Let this cup pass from me. Tell the Father, let this feeling of me being afraid pass from me, Father. And do what? Nevertheless, not as I will, but thy will. Look how he put it in the will of the Father. There he go. Teaching the disciples that look, and teaching Sister Deborah that look, Deborah, we got to separate our will from his will. Yeshua did it. He separate all these verses I'm giving you, showing you how he separate himself from the Father. He separated himself so that we can know how to go to the Father, how we can speak to the Father, how we can commune with the Father. That's what he was doing all that time. And look at what his men today is at. The women too. Because for them not to even know about the alabaster box and not inform these men, we're doing this wrong. They are the silly women that's following around with the silly men. They don't have the Ruach HaKodesh because the Ruach would have revealed it to them. I mean, if it's got to take out time and reveal it to me when I'm young, teenager, why can't they reveal it to you all? I keep saying I'm not a teacher, but I'm what he said that I am. And I need to stop saying who I am. I got to be what he said that I am. And if I'm on this devil platform teaching, I'm teaching because he said that I am to teach. Okay. Now, in verse 26 and 39, I like what he was saying because he gave two wills. He gave the Father will and his will. He said, not what? Not as I will, but what? But what? But thy will. See, he's separating his from the Father. So how can he be the Father? How can he be God? You see how they got that messed up from the floor up? So to me, a lot of the Christians had that right. They had it wrong, but they had it right. You have to be able to hear Sister Deborah teach that thing. They had it wrong, but they had it right. Satan had it. What he had it right, but he had it wrong. When he told Eve, he had it right, but he had it wrong. So you have to be able to know in the spirit of the Ruach HaKodesh teaching of what that means. Because Yeshua said the same thing that Satan said. Man has become like one of us, now knowing good and evil. And Satan said to Eve, he knows that you would become knowing. Not as a higher God, but a lowercase God, as knowing good and evil. He knew what he was saying to her. But to trap people, you have to tell them a little right to get them to do a full wrong. How do you think T.D. Jakes, all these big churches? Look at Cliff O'Dollar, still rumbling. After they took all the money from them people for all them not hundreds, but many years, 20-something years, took people money, tithes and offering, tithe basically. Come back and repent and still up there doing the same thing and people still giving it to them. You see? A little right. And all you have to do, it can be a pin needle of right. And the multitude will follow that one that got a pin needle of right. And that's why you see the Christians being the largest number. It's because they told a little right and the majority wrong. That's how they become who they are, because the 100% is behind them, which is the Roman Catholics. There's no right in them, none whatsoever. They set the shield there, which is the Christians, to be their shield so no one can come up against them. They did a good job. And they can look at, that's why the people are bouncing off the Christians and want to prosecute the Christians, because the power of Satan is behind the Christians. The power of Satan used Christians as a shield. Okay, stay back on your topic, Deborah. Now let's finish this here. In Matthew chapter 26 and 39, let's go to 40. For he cometh unto the disciples and find them asleep, and saying unto Peter, what, could ye not watch with me 1 hour? What is he talking about? Want me to tell you one of the things? I think I can get probably a lot out of that. But one of the things I feel is Yeshua is feeling himself. He's feeling that flesh. He said, if I've got to go and complete this mission and lay down my life, at least the thing you can do is just watch. Stay up with me. Peter and them couldn't. The flesh couldn't do it. They were tired. They were worn out. They were falling asleep. And that bothered Yeshua. Why? Because Yeshua is in the flesh now. That's the flesh that's speaking to Peter and them, telling them to stay woke. For what? What can they do? They can't do nothing about your mission, bro. They can't save you from this. But you want them to stay woke. For what? See? This was your hour that Ahia has ordained, predestined before the foundation of the world. So you're going to have to run this, bro. You sure you got to run this? You did an excellent job. Come on now. So what happened? It says in verse 41, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Now, right there, it also referred to, it also support something that 99 trillion don't understand. Right there separates the soul away from this. This is what I believe the Roman Catholics have placed in this book, the word soul. I really believe that, without a doubt. I really did. I really believe that, because it's only two things. It's flesh and the spirit. What did he say? Either you're born of the flesh or you're born of the spirit. When you put something in between that, once you got like this and you got something in between that, it keeps what? This from coming together to work together. I don't know if y'all see it. Let me do it with a piece of paper. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. Say, for instance, the flesh and the spirit. But when you put this paper in between it, look at them. They can't come together. You get the point I'm making? I think the paper is soul. It was placed there to keep the flesh from connecting to the spirit and keeping the spirit from connecting to the flesh. And this is where you see the world today. Because Yah wanted the spirit to tame the flesh, to get the flesh under subjection while it walked this journey of life. But can the spirit get the flesh under the subjection when there is a middleman? No, because it can't touch base. So I believe the Catholic put this here between, so people will not be able to focus on flesh and the spirit. The spirit has to get the flesh under the subjection to the spirit. Why? Because the spirit is what? Let's go back. Verse 41. It says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. Listen to what it says. For the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. The spirit is willing to follow the Father, to be obedient. But the flesh is weak. So how can the flesh not be weak? We have to get the flesh under the subjection to the part of us which are spirit that is willing. So it too may be willing to follow. You see? But when we put soul in there, then it confuses and confounds people to think that the soul is what it is. The soul is always in there to separate, to get in, to clutter, to keep the two from working together. That's what happens. And that's why sin is so at a high level. Now, that makes a lot of sense to me because that's how I was taught from the wilderness. That you deal only with the spirit and the flesh, Deborah. He said, he that is born of the flesh is of the flesh. He that is born of the spirit is of the spirit. So what he's showing me is that anything in between that will interfere with the mission of the Father. Not so much as your personal mission and what you say and what you think and how you feel, but it interferes with the mission, and it has. Look where we at today. And this started in Genesis. This didn't start today, y'all. This started in Genesis. So as we go to verse 41, it's showing you, he's telling him that the spirit is indeed willing, but your flesh is weak. He's telling this to Peter. So stay woke, pray, watch, and pray. Okay. Verse 42. He went away again the second time and prayed and said, "Oh Father, if this cup may not pass away from me." See, there he go. That was the flesh. That was the Son of Man, his flesh. That was the Son of Man who came down to walk like we walk, but represent Yah all the way 100. We were to get behind him. See, that's where we were supposed to get behind him and the ways that he did and how he did it, the things he said, and follow him. But we didn't do that. We looked over here at the flesh of man and said, "No, we're going to do what he said." Okay, so here it is again. He wanted him to stay awoke. What I realized, and in verse 43 says, no, let's go back to 42. And Yeshua said, when in 42, it says, when he went away again the second time and prayed, saying, "Oh Father, oh my Father, if this cup may pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done." He's talking to the Father. Why? Because his flesh is feeling this thing, y'all. What Sister Deborah tell you, you got to feel this thing. You walk around here thinking you can say it, you can think it, based on what you say. That you in there? No, baby, you got to feel this thing. This thing is something you got to feel. And that's what Yeshua was doing. He was feeling that mission. And then in verse 43, and he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. That they were tired, they were sleepy. Why are they staying open, awake? You said because so the temptation that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Because that's the state of mind he was in, because he was in that hour, which was running up in those minutes for him to lay his life down. Okay. So let's go to Matthew's chapter 20. In Matthew's chapter 20, we're winding it down. In Matthew's chapter 20, verse 23. In Matthew's chapter 20, verse 23, he said unto them, ye shall drink indeed of my cup. And this is when someone approached him saying, I think she said, can it be granted that her two sons, one sit on the right and one sit on the left in the kingdom? And listen to how Yeshua approached that. And this is why I think Yeshua did this is another reason. This is just one of the reasons, along with thousands of reasons, and how he walked and talked and how he led Sister Deborah to understand even more of his walk with the Father, so that I too may know that it's not about what people say and think and feel and what they want to make. It's about what spirit and truth consists of. Listen to how Yeshua addressed her. And that is in Matthew's chapter 20 and 23. She wants her two sons, one to sit on the right and one to sit on the left in the kingdom. Yeshua said to her in verse 23, we in Matthew's chapter 20, verse 23. And he said unto her, yea, ye shall drink indeed of my cup and be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given. You see that word given? It shall be given to them for whom it is prepared. Prepared is predestined, ordained, foreknew, prepared of my Father. He's pretty much letting her know, look, the kingdom is not in my control. It's all in my Father's. And what he has already, that's what Sister Deborah tried to explain to you all. Yah has already prepared this. So what we think we know, what we think we have, what we think we got strength in and power to say and do, and it ain't worth a pot of burnt beans. Why? Because when it all said and done, it's the way my Father has orchestrated it. And that's what Yeshua is telling him. This is not my power to do this. It is my Father. Separating, what was my title? Separating himself, the Son of Man, separating himself from the Father. We're gonna get deep in it, y'all. We're gonna get deep. In the last verse, I'm gonna get deep. Okay, now let's go to I like him saying that, because he's doing what? Separating himself from the Father, so that we too may know that him and the Father are two. The mission was one, because he couldn't have done it by himself. He couldn't have been born and make it to the cross. Why? Wasn't they after him to kill him before he was born? The moment he came out of the lady, out of Mary, wasn't they after to kill him? So how could he have made it to the cross? He needed that power. Thank you. He needed it, and the Father knew it. He know what he was doing. I don't know where we think he don't know nothing, but we know it all. But that shows you how lost we are, because we never walked behind Yeshua. Not a man on this earth got behind Yeshua and walked therein. Okay, so let's go to Matthew 11, and I'm going to say it like it is. That's the truth, and the truth's going to be told, because there's no need to hide nothing else. It's over. There's no need to lie. Okay, Matthew chapter 11 and verse 1 through 6. Now listen to this. Matthew chapter 11, verse 1 through 6. And verse 1 says, and it came to pass when Yeshua, do you see Hamashiach on the side of that? Every verses I said to y'all, did y'all see Hamashiach? Where was Hamashiach in all this? Where was Christ in all of this? Come on now. See, Yeshua was walking as a man. He was walking as a son of man, teaching the disciples all this time. He wasn't running around here and saying, I'm the Christ, I'm the Christ, I'm the power, I'm the power. He walked as a man to teach what? Men. You think these men gonna walk behind Yeshua as a man to teach these men? No, they ain't gonna come nowhere near it. And they have not. And this has happened for thousands of years. So listen to this here. Matthew chapter 11, verse 1. And it came to pass when Yeshua had made an end of commanding his disciples, he departed hence and to teach and to preach in their cities. Now listen to this. You notice you don't see Christ. You don't see Hamashiach. In all those verses I gave y'all, y'all didn't see it. That's because you don't know no different. It went over your head. You cut throat. See, you missed it. A lot of times we're so busy talking and we ain't listening. It's a lot of mystery been put right there, but it's only for those in which Ahia has given to them before the foundation of the world. That's why people miss it, because they don't listen. They so busy to where they can't listen to all the mystery. Yeshua never had mentioned Christ. Christ was never added in that. That's the power of what he was saying. But they missed it. So what did he say? In Matthew chapter 11, verse 1. And it came to pass when Yeshua, there you go again, without Christ, without Hamashiach, had made an end of commanding his disciples, he departed hence and to teach and to preach in their city. Now, verse 2. Now, when John had heard in the prison the works of Christ. You see what he said? Y'all missed it again, didn't you? Listen to what's this here. Now, John is in prison, and he heard in prison the works. You see, works. You see that? You see, that's some works. The works of who? Christ. Now, here it's saying that it's just Yeshua. But now, here in verse 2, it's showing you that John is in the prison and he's hearing about the works of what? The power. That's the one that came with Yeshua, the son of Yah. He holds the spirit, the word, and the power to work with Yeshua. But Yeshua was just with the disciples. Yeah, he was just with the disciples in Matthew chapter 11, verse 1. And then in verse 2, it says, and when John had heard, not seen, but John had heard in the prison the works of the power. And he sent to his disciples. John heard. What was John hearing? John was hearing things that was taking place. Taking place by what? Christ. Because Christ is the power. Christ is the power. And you notice all the verses I gave you, Christ wasn't added. Because this was about the Son of Man. Peter up in the prison. That led, I get chills. That led me to understand that John the Baptist knew the difference. He knew, because he said, a lot of y'all don't know nothing about this, but John was saying many times, he said a couple of times, I think he said it twice. He said in the beginning, when he was baptized and everything, he was talking about, I know of him because he was before me. Who was that? Who was John talking about? He that sent me was before me, and I know of him. He was talking about Christ, the Father's power, the Father's word, and the Father's spirit. John was saying to us, he knew that, the Son of Yah. But this Son of Man, hey, wait a minute, I don't know nothing about him. I'm learning about him. But I'm in prison. It's time for me, John say, it's time for me to decrease. I feel this thing. I'm feeling this thing. But I need to know, is my Father's power on the earth? Is my Father's power mean the what? Look back up at that verse 2. WORKS. The works of my Father's power. Go, disciples. Check this one out and ask him, are you the one? Or should we look for another? Praise the mighty Yah. Woo, John, I like that. I love it. Because John is separating. What John is doing? John doing exactly what Sister Deborah's teaching in this message. He said, Deborah, I'm separating the Son of Man from the power of Yah. Woo, Father, yeah! I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's what John is saying. That's why he called it works of Christ, because that's the Son of Yah. Okay? And he sent his 2 disciples to say, wait a minute, y'all, go down there and ask. Because the Son of Yah, I know him. But the Son of Man, I don't know nothing about him. But I do understand. This is what John's saying to Sister Deborah in her spirit. Deborah, I understand that I must decrease. That Yeshua with the Son of Yah increase, I must decrease. I was given that mission, Deborah, before the foundation of the world. I already know I must decrease. So once I know that is he the power, or should we look for another? Because if we have to look for another, if John have to wait for the other, that means they can't kill him in the prison. John want to know that, wait a minute, is this it for me? That's what he said. He said, go tell him. In a sense, he ain't talking about, let me tell you what John has said. I ain't caught up in who you are as the Son of Man. I'm caught up in who you are as the Son of Yah. Because when the Son of Yah come on the scene, he increased, I got to decrease. That's what John was saying. He wasn't afraid to die. Because he already know the mission in heaven was, when I come down, John, you know me, I'm the Son of Yah. When I come down, you're going to decrease. John say, yes, it's over for here, for me, because you're going to increase. So that's why he was using the word works of Christ, meaning the works of the Father's power. See, we never knew the power because we made the power the Son of Man, born of the flesh. We were to, this is how Yeshua was coming to show us how to walk in the flesh. But in order for us to know how to walk in the flesh, we have to be able to understand him in the flesh and the Son of Yah in the spirit. So what we have to understand the Son of Man and the Son of Yah. There was 2 sons. One was the Son of Man and there was the Son of Yah. And then once we understand the 2, we have to put them together and say, yay, work that mission for the Father. Work that mission for the Father. That's how it's done, y'all. It's just like you. You are flesh and blood. But when the Ruach HaKodesh come in you, then you all become what? One. And y'all work that power for who? The Father. Work that power for the Father. So this is what Yeshua, the Son of Man, was doing. Oh, my time. Okay, my computer might cut off. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. But the Son of Yah. Oh, I cannot believe it's going to cut off on me, you guys. I cannot believe this computer's going to cut off on me. No, it is not. So that's one of the reasons why. If the computer cut off, that's okay. I think I fulfilled the mission in teaching. I'm still trying to. I cannot believe it. It's not even. But it might cut off. There we go. Thank you, Father Yah. It might cut off, but now it's working, Yah. So, but what I'm saying is Yeshua, John the Baptist in the prison, calling his end to his mission, but he knew that he couldn't decrease. That means they couldn't kill him if the Son of Yah works is not being performed. So listen to this. Yeshua said not a word. Yeshua said not a word. Guess what happened? Watch this here. When you get to the Matthew chapter 11, thank you, Father Yah. Thank you, Father Yah. When you get to Matthew chapter 11 and you get to verse 3, John has sent his two disciples to confront Yeshua. And in verse 3, it says, and say unto him, or thy, this is what the disciples are to say to John. This is what the disciples of John are to say to Yeshua. Are thou he that shall come, or do we look for another? That's beautiful. I love that. Oh, John. Those are my brothers, y'all. I can tell my brothers. I can tell. I know who my brothers are. That is truly my brother. Because he's saying, are you the one that's coming down with the power, the works of the power? Or should we look for another one? What John is only saying is it this? Are you the one? If you're the one, it's time for me to decrease. Meaning when they come to kill me, it's okay. But if you're not the one, then I still have to live until that one comes, because my mission from Yah is I come down here to prepare the way for the one that's going to override me with the power. So that's why he's asking Yeshua. He don't know of Yeshua, but he know of Hamashiach, which is the son of Yah. So this is what he knows. So he said, are you the son of Yah, or shall we look for another? Because if it's another, then I ain't gonna die in this prison. But if it's you, then it's time to swoop the coop. Time to go. And that's all he was saying. Now, let me tell you. In verse 4, it says, Yeshua answered and said to them. He said to what? John, two disciples. Listen to how beautiful that is. Yeshua said to them. He said, go and do what? Go and do what? What did he say to John? What did he say to John's disciples? He said, go and show. So for them to be able to show John, they had to what? See. You see? Not only did they see, watch this here. He said, John disciples, Yeshua said to John's disciples, go and show John again those things which ye do hear and see. Hear and see. That's what Yeshua said. He said, you're going to go back and tell John the things that you can hear and you can see. So what is that thing that he can hear and see? Verse 5. The blind receiving their what? Sight. The lame is walking. The leper are cleansed. The deaf is hearing. The dead are rising. And the poor have the gospel, which is the power, preached to them. Praise the mighty Yah. See, Yeshua wasn't trying to tell John, wait a minute, what you mean, am I the one? Yeah, I'm the one. Yeshua wasn't saying, yeah, tell him I'm the son of man. Yeshua wasn't saying that. He said, I tell you what, go show him the works that you see and that you hear. And that should seal it. Don't go saying what I'm saying. Tell him what you hearing and what you seeing. And once you tell John what you hearing and what you seeing, then John knows that, yes, these are the works of Yah, meaning Yah. It's time for me to decrease. This is over with my life. It's over. See how that works? The miracles and signs comes from the son of Yah that came down to work with the son of man. So the son of man, it wasn't important that he tell the disciples, yeah, tell them I am the son of man. He said, no, you go back and tell them what you see. And it was basically everything to see, more so than to hear. Bam! And then now John knows it's time to decrease because the power has hit the earth to increase. So he knew it was time. He knew that because the Father had already prepared him there, just like he prepared Yeshua. That's why he was in Gethsemane. He said, take away this bitter cup, not mine, but thy will. Thy hour is near. He knew he set time that he's supposed to lay his life down You're supposed to lay your life down. Now, let me explain something to you that the Father brought to me yesterday when I was teaching this. The Father showed me something that was very powerful. Now, watch this here. No, I need to finish this here. I need to close this here. In Matthew's, this same thing where Yeshua went to telling John's disciple all the signs and wonders and miracles and works of Christ was being performed. In verse 16, it says, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Why? Because you're doing all power and you speak in all truth. That's why people get offended. It's because when the truth is being spoken and miracle signs is in front of it and in back of it, people get offended. People get offended with the things that they don't understand, nor do they know. That's why they won't hear. They'll run from hearing because they're afraid of what they hear would offend them. Isn't that sad? But it's all real. It's all real. Now, I wanted to say that because when I heard Yeshua say, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Bam. There you go. See, people get offended in their flesh. That just shows you who you are in Satan. That's why he says, blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended. The other one ain't blessed. Get offended. Get your feelings hurt. But I learned something yesterday, and I forgot that thought that was really powerful about, I have to remember it again. I got off of it. Let's go to the final message, which is Matthew 16 and verse 13. Matthew 16 and verse 13. This is going to sum this message up. And it is in Matthew's chapter 16 and verse 13 to 20. And what this message is going to do is, I like this one because it lets me know, Deborah, it ain't about what somebody believe or accept or like to hear or want to hear and how they feel. It ain't even about that. Like you say, kicks the rocks to the curb, do that. And always remember that. Kick it out of your lane and keep it running. You know you got to run. If rocks come on your lane, kick it out the way and keep going. Praise the mighty God. Now, in Matthew chapter 16 and verse 13, I'm going to tell y'all something. This is going to sum this message up about Yeshua separating himself from the Father. What's so powerful about this verse is, and I put this to be the last because I think it's carry a lot of power. It's actually doing what Yeshua had to step down, or no, I ain't gonna say steps down. He has to step back on what was taken, because he realized that, wait a minute, the Father was doing some work outside of what he was doing on the earth. So Yeshua at that time realized that the Father was still in the business of being in control. The Father was still in the business of being control, being the control, being fully in control. So when we get down here, we think we in control because we think we saved, we think we full of the Ruach HaKodesh, we think we have spirit and truth, we think we have the light. Baby, let me tell you something. When you get caught up in that, you messed up from the floor. Because if you don't get caught up in in anything, you better be caught up in Yah and who he is and what he got and what he was and what he gonna be and what he created, what is righteous in him, what is belief in him, what's faith in him, what's fear in him. If you ain't caught up in that, it ain't nothing big about you thinking you got something. Because how you know you got it is when you caught up in him and not them or not self. Okay, now listen to this. I would never understand, and it's not meant for me to understand. I'm going to be honest. I'm too old to even try to get to a place to try to understand why people don't understand what I'm about to say, because these are the things that's plainly seen. And if it's plainly seen to me, doesn't mean it's plainly seen to them, because the Father said, I am the controller of he that can see and he that can hear. They said they see, Deborah, but they cannot see. They said they hear, but they cannot hear. So a lot of times people thinking that they got this right because they learn, let's say if there's 100%, they learn 10% of it and they think they're going to run with it. Oh, I got it. But the truth be told is the ones that Yeshua, the Son of Man, is coming for in these end days. Let me tell you something. In the end days. Now, I think the end days is after the individual goes over to the promised land. You see what I'm saying? It's after that. But when Yeshua come in the end days, he's coming for what is in him before the foundation of the world. Those who Yah has assigned in him before the foundation of the world. You see? And assigned to what? Believe in him before the foundation of the world. See, everything is already sealed in Yah. So what do you have to do? You got to trust Yah. But Yeshua shows us the way to put all our trust in the Father. And that's a way no man and woman is willing to walk therein. Okay, in Matthew's chapter 16, this is going to sum it up in verse 13. It reads, in verse 16, 13. When Yeshua came into the coast of, Syria, Philippian, he asked his disciples. Now he's asking his disciples. Now go back up to verse 13. Do you see Christ in there? One thing else I noticed about Christ, he only stepped in when the power and the word needs to be put forth. You see? The Son of Yah knows its place because it's Yah. It let Yeshua do what he's supposed to do. And when it come down to the works, the power, the miracles, the sign, and the word, then he pull up. But when it comes down to what is about to happen, you don't see Christ because this don't need the power. Watch what happened. So here go Yeshua. He steps in and he asks his disciples. Now these were just the disciples. He said, who do men, M-E-N, say that I? See, look how Yeshua is separating himself from the Father, separating himself from Christ. He is separating himself from Hamashiach. This is what this whole message is about. Yeshua separate himself from the Father. Yeshua knows that he is the Son of Man. And he knows that the Father is the Son of Yah. Okay? Now, here in verse 13, he's before his disciples and he said, who do men, the flesh of men, say that I, and then he lets you know, the Son of Man, the Son of Man, the Son of Man. Go back it up a little bit. You see the verse where it says, who do men say that I? Do you see am right there? You don't see I am there, do you? Do you see I am? No, you do not. It is the Son of Man saying, I, the Son of Man, am. So he put the Son of Man between I, the Son of Man, am. To let you know he's speaking of himself, the Son of Man. And they said, some said thou art John the Baptist, John the Baptist. Some said Elijah. Some said Jeremiah or one of the prophets. This is what they were saying. That here people are saying. He's saying to them that who do men say that I am? And when he's saying this, he's talking to them too. He's talking to the disciples, but everybody else. Who are they saying that I, the Son of Man, am? And like I say, you notice he put the Son of Man in between I am. He put the word the Son of Man. You see, I am. I is right at the beginning here, and am is at the end of the question mark. But the Son of Man. So they were answering him. John the Baptist, the prophets, Elijah, Jeremiah's, telling, that's what they said. People are calling him. But then Yeshua asked the other question, and he said it unto them again. But whom say ye that I am? You see that? You see that? That's where the power is at, you guys. That's where the power is at right there. You see that word, I am? That's where the power. And verse 16. Notice that it's saying I am in 15, but in 13 it says I, the Son of Man, am. There's a big, big difference. Because actually there is two. Even Yeshua put it before them as two. Because, he was curious. He was curious. But let me show you how Yeshua had to step back to rethink this thing as the Son of Man. Watch this here. Verse 16. And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art Christ, the Son of the living Yah. The Son of the living Yah. Peter wasn't supposed to know that. I know that myself. Peter wasn't supposed to know that. This shows me that nobody tells my Father what to do. You can't sit, and Sister Deborah can't either, and try to think that we're going to rule over him and tell him what to do. Right then, he stepped beyond the Son of Man. And he gave it unto Peter. Hallelujah! So what happened? The Son of Man stepped back. Whoa. Let's go. Let's go. Verse 16. Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living Yah. This is where the problem is at in the world today. We had no respect, like I told y'all, for the power of who Yah is and how he brought it down to us. We had no respect. Even after all the miracles and signs and wonders that Yeshua was performing with Christ, you notice Christ? Peter didn't say Yeshua HaMashiach. Peter said Christ, because that's the power. Christ is the HaMashiach, and Christ is the same one in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Us. Man never knew. That's the Father's power. That's his right hand and his stretched out arm. Okay? And he said, the Son of the living Yah. Now, listen to verse 17. Here we go. And Yeshua answered and said unto him, wait a minute, hold up. Blessed are thou, Simon Peter, Bar Jonah, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee. What was Yeshua saying, flesh and blood? Yeshua was separating himself from the Father. He separated himself again from the Father, so that Deborah may know that the Father himself can override me anytime and any way. That's beautiful. I love how Yeshua gave all glory and honor and respect to the Creator at all times. And here we are down here trying to get it for ourselves, trying to get up, trying to grab holy and glory and honor and praise for us ourselves. That's what they do on these devil platforms. And it's okay. It's over. They can grab all that they can. What does Solomon say? That's your portion, bro. That's your portion. So you better enjoy it while you're on the earth, because that's the portion you're going to get. You ain't got nothing coming when it comes to heaven. That's the sad part about it. People don't even know you ain't got nothing coming when it comes to the kingdom. That's why he said, build your treasures in the heaven. They wait for you when you go and when you get there. No one can say that they have built their treasures on the earth, because they don't have no respect for Yeshua as the Son of Man, our example to walk behind him, nor anybody that Yah sends. Do you know so many people supported Yeshua? He had so many people supporting him. He had hundreds and thousands of people all over to support him. Yeshua did. You know how they support him? Kill him! Crucify him! That's how they supported him. In wicked and evil. See? Y'all didn't know that, did you? Yes, that's how they supported him. Okay? They were all for him being crucified. They came from all over to see him be crucified. That's how they supported him. To be there when he laid down his life. That's how they supported him. Okay, so what happened now? He said to Peter, wait a minute, flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you. That means I am born of a woman, flesh and blood. I am the son of a man. I did not reveal that to you, Peter. But what did he say? But my Father, which is in heaven. See, he's going back referring to the Father. That's what we should do at all times. Even when you think of anything I say, you still should refer to the Father. Things that I should say to you should lead you to the Father. If you think these people on this devil platform is talking and none of their message is leading you to the Father, to the kingdom, to the power of the Father, then why are you following them? Because you're not of the Father's lineage. You are of the flesh. Okay, in verse 18, and I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon the rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against thee and against it. In verse 19, and I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whosoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Now I want to explain something to you. Okay, what he's given him is the keys to the kingdom. That's what he was feeding them from the beginning. But him giving the keys to the kingdom to Peter was really just him saying the Ruach had to come to usher it. You see, they didn't believe nothing Yeshua was saying. The Holy Spirit had to come the day of Pentecost to live in them so that they can remember what Yeshua said and have all the teachings of way he taught them when they walked with him. You see, before Peter can conquer the keys. You see what I'm saying? He conquered the keys because the keys were about the kingdom of heaven. So even though Peter was speaking it into him, it was to when the Ruach come and bring things to his remembrance. Then when he remember what Yeshua said with the keys, then now the keys are unto Peter. This is what the pastors, the bishops, and all the teachers teach. How dare Peter, the day of Pentecost, to stand up and tell the people who were there, saying that these were a bunch of people drunk on the day of Pentecost. These were drunken people. Peter stood up and said, this are the work of the one that you crucified. A lot of the pastors and the bishops, they're against Peter saying that, because they said, how could you say anything and you deny them? They're ignorant. That's why. They're ignorant. Because they don't see what I see in the spirit and truth. I don't see Peter as a denial. I see Peter being curse to deny. Peter wasn't denying, because if he was a denier, why would he draw the sword to start war? Praise the mighty God. That wasn't no denier one. That wasn't one to, now you can say anybody else, but Peter wasn't the one that you can say that it's a denial or he denied the Father. Why? Because you have to see that was a curse that was put on him to wipe away the fact that he was interfering. Let me show you an example. He was interfering with the Father's will. You see, by telling Yeshua that he's going to die with him and nobody's going to come and take him because he's going to fight in a sense and die with him. He meant that. Didn't he draw that sword? Didn't he draw the blood when he cut off the guy's ear? He meant what he said. But it has to have a follow-up, because you tampered with the will of the Father. And because you tamper with the will of the Father, now the Father has to suffer a curse to come on you to erase the fact that no man can die for the sins of the world outside of Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay? So that's why the curse was put on Peter. It wasn't because Peter was a denier. That was a curse of all timers put on Peter. And it was taken off later on when Yeshua had died and was buried, risen, and came back. And when he went onto the shore where he met the disciples on the seashore, and Peter was out fishing. When Peter was pulling all the fishes, he hadn't caught anything, but the Yeshua did a miracle, and Peter pulled off all the fish through his net, and he didn't have on any clothes. So when it came to the shore, the fire was lit and they were eating, and Yeshua turned to Peter and he said to him, he said, Peter, do thou love me? Peter say, thou knowest all things. Letting them know, you know it, you know I do. And he asked him 3 times. That was to take away the curse of all timers off of Peter in a form of forgiving and decreasing off of him. Was the 3 denials. And then the 3, do you love me, was to erase the 3 denials from Peter. So that was cleaned up. See, a lot of you all, I'm going to tell you something. 99 point trillion don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. But if you read the book, you will know that lady can't be lying. She's lining it up. But it's like she's giving you the power punches of what it's saying. Even though we done read it over, and we done been taught it over, and here we are at age, and we done heard it here, and we done heard it here, and heard it, we still ain't heard nothing. Because the way she's putting it nails it. So this is why I can't see Peter as a denier, just like I couldn't see Job in what I was seeing in Job. The church, I've sat and heard it, you all. I stayed in the church. I sat and heard them teach that Job said, ye though you slay me, yet I will trust in thee. Oh, he was sick. He was crazy. He was out of his mind. No, he was in his mind. Because he knew the Father had already put in him, this is me doing this. This is me doing this. Because had not the Father touched Job with that right hand, Satan couldn't have done nothing. Each time, go back and read it. Watch Satan say, touch him with that right hand. Even Satan knows about the right hand. Who is the right hand? That's the Father's power. It came down to help Yeshua walk this journey in the flesh of man. And who was it? It was the Son of Yah. That was Yah's power from the heavens and the earth. It was his word. It was his spirit to come help Yeshua walk this in the flesh so he can get from square 1 to square Z. From square A to Z. Bam, and it's over. Y'all ain't sent him down here by himself. He's sent to help him. He's helping him. He's helping him in this mission. Now, what I come to realize is that just going into this topic, this is such a powerful message for many. Now, I want you, he wants me to finish this here. He wants me to finish this. So in Matthew chapter 16 and verse 19, it says, and I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom. Notice it has an S to it. It is so much to learn, you guys, about the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And what he's telling Peter, whatever you learn on the earth heaven's going to loose it for you. That means Yah is going to loose it for you. It's going back to what Yeshua was saying at the beginning. All that I have is what my Father has given me. Sister Deborah said the same. I don't have nothing outside of what Yah has given me. And that's what I trust in. That's why I can speak so bold and don't care about how I said it and the way I said it or whatever. Because I know who behind me. I know who in front of me. On every side of me. Why would I be caught up in what I'm saying if I know who I am in him and he is in me? And you're dealing with people who don't even know their calling. They don't even know their purpose. So that's why I sound so bold and so blunt in what I'm saying. It's because I'm so assured. I'm so assured of who I serve, who I represent. Okay. Now listen to this, you guys. Look at verse 20. Matthew chapter 16 and verse 20. And then Yeshua. Who is Yeshua? The Son of Man. And then Yeshua says what? Watch this here. Being charged, his disciples. Wait a minute. What you mean you charging them? Why are you finna put that on them? Watch this here. That they should tell no man that he was Yeshua. Look at the word the Christ. That he was Yeshua, the Christ. Look how Yeshua separate Christ. Look how he separated. Not let no man know that he is or he was Yeshua HaMashiach. No, he didn't. This is only for somebody like Sister Deborah that's spiritual rooted in the Ruach HaKodesh. I'm a student of the Holy Spirit. And know what else you are? When the Spirit talks to me and teach me, I shut up. I know it looks like I can talk a lot, but guess what? I can hear a lot too. I think I'm more good at hearing than I am in speaking. That's why I tell you I'm not a teacher, but I think I'm more gooder or better at hearing than I am speaking because I can hear behind hearing. That's a blessing. You see? So therefore, I'm sitting here listening and I'm like saying, why is it no one can grip that? See, because when the Roman Catholic came in and smeared it, they thought they was going to smear it enough to confound you, and they have. Because look at soul in between spirit and flesh. Look how the soul is put in between, so you'll never know how or why your spirit is to get your flesh under the subjection. Why? Because the soul is in the middle. That's what they put there, so you can be confused. When you hear out of Yah's mouth through the Ruach, I don't hear soul. So that's why I'm speaking like that, y'all. I don't hear soul. Soul is something that's been put in there so that you won't understand what you're really to be working on while you're walking. It's flesh and your spirit. Let me give you another example. Like love. Do you know how hard it is to define love in the biblical book? What is love? What is, like, let's say the flesh has one love, but Yah has another love. We can define the flesh love because it's a silly one. It's a crazy, it's a stupid, it's a no sense. But then on this end, how we can define the love of God? How? You can't. Because when you go searching it, you're going to find out it's no such thing outside of give and gave that defines what man wants to call the love of God. It's everything that he give and gave. Genesis to Revelation. That's it. So this is another word I think that they put in there. That was put in there. That's why I said when you turn it backwards, it tells you E-bo. Because that word also confuse you with how and what is love. Let me give you another example, and I'm going to get off of here. Love is in Yah. If Sister Deborah say love is love, then how can I define Yah's love? I can only define it based on how he taught me in the wilderness. It is give and gave. So when you find a man and a woman that in a marriage, it's about giving and gave. Giving and gave each other. And then here come the seeds, the children. Same thing. Father giving the children what he can give, mother giving what she can give, so that the foundation of the children can go out into the world and give the world all that was given unto them to really go out into the world. That's why he said, train up a child. The training up of a child is giving him the way. And the way is to give him the way of Yah. First and foremost. First and foremost. You know how important it is to teach children how to get on their knees at a very young age. If they can crawl. Now you see these babies now can use a cell phone. Can get on there and play all them little games and do it at a cell phone at 3 years old. Start those babies at 1, 3. Let them see you on your knees. Let them see you crying out. So what? They don't know who you crying out. They don't need to know. They need to see you to know how to go about it. And then when they see you crying out, let's just imagine a son and a daughter. If their father is bringing them in at night and sitting down praying with them, he's showing them. That is what he's speaking of. Train him up in the way of Yah. Yah is the only way that's righteous. What other way is there? And when these little babies see their daddy on his knees, you got one, oh, you got one too, and they see their daddy on their knee, they stand there playing and looking at each other. Do it 4 or 5 times. Then all of a sudden, they're going to have their own little prayer. They're going to be up in there praying themselves, and you're going to be like, you sitting here seeing if they getting it, and they down there praying themselves. No, they ain't saying what you saying, but they learning what they see you do. That's what he means. Train them up in the way that they should go. And when they get old, they won't depart. That means that even as they get older and they in the old, they'll still have that which their father trained them up in. But what do we want to train them up? You want to train, these men are training these men up in hate, having many wives, wanting to be a king and a leader while they're in prison, while they're in captivity. We're training these kids up how to use guns. We're telling them it's about getting you something in case somebody come try to take some. We're training them up in all kind of things. But what about the way of Yah? Yes, you start them at a very young age. I did. Being on your knees. And I look back even at my children and I realized, I said, you know what? I gave them the best of what you've given me. I really can't lose, Father. I can't even lose. So I need to start recognizing you gave them all he gave you. You ain't got nothing to lose, Deborah. What is there you going to lose? Nothing. Train them up in the way they should go, not the way they want to go. Not the way your wife wants you to go or the way the husband wants to go. Train them up in the way. The way is the way of Yah. You ain't righteous. So how are you going to train them up in your righteous? But Yah is all righteous. So you train them up in the way of Yah, in the fear of Yah. But why can't a father nor a mother get down there and have these babies doing that? Because it ain't in them. They haven't been trained. And their father hasn't been trained. Everything been trained. Everybody has been trained so well in sin to no one has been trained in righteousness. Have you heard where it says, because I tell you the truth? You hate me because I tell you the truth. But if I lie, you love me. That's a fact. That's a 100% fact, y'all. That's it. But that's just how everything is. And I look at the fact that, Father, if I fail you, if I go up against everything you stand for and what you done taught me, then that means what? I ain't got nothing to gain. Why people aren't seeing it, I can't explain it. I can say as a living prophet that Yeshua has done an excellent job. The Father has done a perfect and excellent job with sending him the route that he sent him and the way. And what I really care about is the fact that he left some instructions and directions here in this book for us. But he didn't want us to trust in the book. He wanted us to still trust in he that is greater in us than he that is not in us. So the book is not in us, but the word of Yah is, because he is the word. But we have to trust that the word that's in us is greater than the word that's out of us, which is out of the mouth of Deborah, out of the mouth of men, women, all these people who did claim their position. And now one of these positions is found in the body of Hamashiach. And I am a prophetess in the wilderness. Judge that situation. That's the purpose of the prophet, is to judge. I can tell you they are not founded in the body of Hamashiach. And that's why they do so well. So Sister Deborah, I hope you got something out of this lesson, because it was not only just a lesson to you, but it was a lesson to me. I give all praise and honor and glory to the Most High, Ahaya, Ahaya. He was, he is, and he shall be in the days to come, all that he already been. Because I trust in what he did before the foundation of the world, not what I see today. I trust yesterday has covered everything that is and that will be. So hello everyone in the live chat. It's good to see you. So we're going to trust Yah and not lead into our own understanding, and know that he is the beginning and the end and everything in between. So shalom and shalom.